Welcome to Daily Scary Tales, where nightmares come to life. Hit subscribe and share the horror with your friends, if they're brave enough. Episode 1. The House of Echoes. There's nothing more disquieting than silence broken by a sound you can't explain. Tonight, I'll lead you to a chilling tale about a seemingly innocent house with a deadly past. A forewarning: not every sound you hear is harmless. In the quiet countryside of Yorkshire stood an unremarkable Victorian house, a home filled with quaint charm, weathered brick, and peeling paint from decades of rain and sun. It was the dream of the Phillips family, who recently moved in to escape the bustle of city life. The mother, Claudia, hoped for peace while raising her 2 children. Her husband, Peter, yearned to find inspiration for his writing career. But peace, they soon learned, was a facade. It began subtly, an echo here, a faint shuffle there. At first, Claudia thought it was just the old wood floors creaking with age, something that any older house might do. But then, the echoes grew distinct. The children, 7-year-old Emma and 5-year-old Lucas, complained about voices they couldn't locate. "Stop playing tricks on me," Emma would shout. But Lucas swore he did no such thing. Peter, typically skeptical, laughed the phenomena off as wind, the quirks of an unfamiliar structure, or the children's imaginations. "Houses make noises," he told Claudia. Yet even he couldn't shake the growing unease when he started hearing whispers in his office while working late at night. It wasn't wind, or wildlife, or the children. These voices were insistent, layered, as though dozens of mouths murmured in overlapping waves right against his ear. But when he spun around, the room always greeted him with oppressive stillness. One peculiar night, Emma woke the family with shrieks. Claudia burst into the girl's room, submerged, to find her trembling beneath the blankets. "Mum," Emma whimpered, her voice choked with terror. "Someone's in here. A woman. She sat on my bed and told me to be quiet, or I'd wake her son." Later, Claudia brushed it off as a dream despite Emma's insistence. But the following afternoon, as she cleaned Emma's room, something caught her eye. A small, dusty shoe print on the wooden floor. It was too small for an adult, too large for Emma or Lucas. The edges of her vision blurred as realization set in. Someone had been there. That night, things escalated. Peter was finishing up an essay in his office when the voices returned, louder than ever. "Leave. You shouldn't be here," one voice screamed, while another hissed. "Bring him back. It's his fault we linger." Panicked, Peter rushed to find Claudia, but as he got to the hallway, he froze. A mirror at the end of the corridor reflected not just his own face, but also a dark shadow behind him. A figure barely human in shape, head cocked unnaturally to the side. He turned abruptly, but nothing was there. After this, the Phillips family finally decided it was time to search for answers. They visited the local library and uncovered some harrowing truth. Their home was infamously called the House of Echoes by locals. Decades earlier, during the 1920s, a gruesome event took place there. A desperate mother who was accused of stealing drowned her son in the bathtub and then took her own life in misery after being ostracized by the townsfolk. Locals whispered about hearing the cries of the child, but the house's previous owners always seemed to move out abruptly, hushed about what they experienced. Despite this, Claudia insisted they were imagining things. They'd invested so much and had uprooted the family for their new lives here. But Peter couldn't ignore what they heard, or how the cold in the house seemed to pulse around certain spots. as though they lived in the presence of an unseen entity that didn't want them there. One night, the truth became undeniable. Emma vanished from her bed. Her blankets were thrown back, her pillow still warm, but she was gone. The house roared to life. Doors slammed, floorboards creaked violently, and a chilling laughter filled the building. "She's not yours," echoed the unmistakable voice of Claudia as she scrambled, barely able to control her tears while searching desperately for her daughter. Finally, Peter heard faint sobbing from the attic. Throwing caution aside, they climbed to the uppermost floor, armed only with their cell phone flashlights. There sat Emma in the corner, surrounded by dusty old toys. She was pale, shaking, and mumbling incoherently. The room seemed unnaturally cold, despite the summer evening outside. On dusty wooden shelves, Peter saw dozens of scribbled messages etched into the wood in what looked like the frantic hand of a child. One stood out. "Help us. She takes us where we can never leave." They fled that very night, leaving behind furniture, heirlooms, and that cursed house. Saturday mornings were traded for motel breakfasts, but their family never became whole again. Emma spoke less and less as time passed. She always seemed to glance over her shoulder, as though expecting someone or something to find her. The House of Echoes still stands today, long abandoned but far from silent. Locals say laughter and screams still spill from its windows on occasion, and every so often, there are rumors of children's faint footsteps heard on the creaking old porch. Could they be looking for a place to play? Or are they sending a warning to anyone who dares enter their domain? What would you do if the walls of your own home had a memory of its own? A sinister memory that refused to let you stay in peace? Comment below, and maybe share your own haunted experiences. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more eerie tales. Until next time, sweet dreams.